You're listening to the Independent 89.9 HD4, Jacksonville, Florida. Matt Shaw here inside Studio 4 at WJCT Public Media, here with local singer-songwriter, the bard from the beaches. It's rickoLus. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. rickoLus plays Blue Jay Listening Room in Jax Beach tomorrow night with another one of our favorite local artists, Focus People. We're going to talk to rickoLus about his long career of making music in a vast range of styles, as well as his most recent album, Bones. Right now, though, he's going to do a song for us. Take it away, man.
Cool. Came out to fight those good old boys in their boom cars. We had the rights to dance all night at the go-go bar. We were just kids, and the world was so wild and big. Break my skateboard on a skinhead. It was survival down on First Street. She said, we're only dancing, gonna keep on dancing. We're gonna keep on dancing. You didn't wanna go home, well, your mom was drunk and your dad was alone, but your sister left you an unrest record and a little pipe. The metalheads with their poison hair stumble out on the boardwalk in their snakeskin pants. They beat their fading era out on you. They're just jocks in makeup that don't know what to do. We said, hey, we're only dancing, gonna keep on dancing. We're gonna keep on dancing. Hey, little girl with the vapor trail, wish I could be her homeboy. Ride my bike through the golf course at night, just a poor kid living a rich kid's life. Well, they shut the doors back in '96, and the music died down on First Streets. We all grew up and we all got lost, but I still hear those songs inside of me singing. Gonna keep on dancing. Gonna keep on dancing, dancing, dancing. Keep on dancing. Gonna keep on dancing. Yeah, we're gonna keep on dancing. Keep on dancing. Keep on dancing.
That was Jacksonville-based singer-songwriter rickoLus playing the song Keep Dancin' from 2021's Bones. His, sixth full length? Is that right?
Yeah.
Half a dozen or so? Yeah. Lost track. rickoLus is here in Studio 4 with me at WJCT Public Media. rickoLus, you just got home from a tour in Europe pretty recently. You go over there every few years or every year or so, it seems. What keeps you going back there? You must have built a nice following over there. They treat you well?
Yeah, they do, man. I feel like just made some nice friends and just had the opportunity. It's really just a lucky thing. I feel like, just got kind of hooked up with the right people over time, and then got it in, and now I'm in with some folks that book tours over there. So don't make a ton of money, but it's an excuse to go to Europe. So
yeah,
it's a lot of fun, man. And those folks over there are real nice.
And you usually go solo yourself and a guitar, you bring a band.
Yeah. The money doesn't doesn't pay for much more than that.
Yeah.
If I can get back with a couple $100 in the green, then it's a good tour.
Yeah, and that's a great way to do it. It's I think a privilege that you're able to do that. And I want to touch on that a little bit in a second, but first I want to talk a little bit about the latest record, It's Bones. Now, if there's a prevailing narrative to this album, it's these kind of nostalgic, maybe celebratory remembrances of your childhood growing up in Jacksonville Beach, mostly, yeah. There's the Village Inn, there's Einstein a Go-Go, these kind of landmarks that are arguably worth more attention. But you also sing a lot about the minutia of that period of adolescence, like flashlight tag, running from the cops. How did this album come together for you? Were you in a particularly nostalgic frame of mind? I know you're not quite at the midlife crisis age yet, so what was going on with when you were putting this record together?
I don't know. If I haven't hit that midlife crisis thing yet, then whatever the past 5 years was pretty tough. I don't know if I'm ready for it. Yeah. But you hit it right on the nose, man. It's real nostalgic, and I've always wanted to tell this story. I felt like there was some magic at the beach growing up, just like some weird little mix of time and people, and I wanted to try and capture that. The first time when I started to really tour by myself and drive around the country, I was like listening to a lot of audiobooks, and the first one I really dove into for the recommendation of a friend of mine was the Bruce Springsteen autobiography. Mm-hmm. And he's, whether you like him or not, he's done a lot of work, and he knows a lot about, he's never had any other job besides rock and roll. So he talks about his whole thing, and I don't know, I feel like that, him telling his, when it came down to him writing songs, and he was talking about, well, what do I write about? And I'll write about, where I'm from. Yeah. Which is this little place that nobody cares about in New Jersey. And now it's a big deal, but I don't think it was very sought after in 60s and 70s when he was coming up. Same as Jacksonville. I feel like the little magic little blip that I experienced with friends and places, and just being a teenager in that weird little, dirty town which is not like that anymore. It's completely gone. Yeah, it's totally gone. Different. Yeah. If you're looking for it, Yeah, it's somewhere on the floor at Ginger's or something, or it's in the bathroom at the Mangoes. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up Springsteen too, because I think that was something that jumped out at me when I first heard the record too. These kind of character studies, from a singer-songwriter's point of view, talking about people who, maybe haven't had a song written about them before or been touched on in the way that you touch on these people in the songs. And what about Jacksonville? I mean, you touched on it a bit, but you seem to be intrigued by this, and also uniquely gifted observer of this city and its people, especially on this record, thinking of songs like People Like Us from Bones. Oh, yeah. And what makes this place a good setting for a song or a character study? I feel like Jacksonville has a lot of passion. This is a quote that somebody said ages ago, because we were like, what's going on in the city? And my friend said, Jacksonville's has a lot of passion but no ambition. It doesn't seem to get its thing together to where it actually builds. It always has these ebbs and flows, which is like a lot of towns, but I've never seen some of the passion that I've seen for music and culture that I've seen in Jacksonville. Just maybe it's against all odds, and it's kind of that weird little balancing on a razor's edge thing that it feels like here. Nobody's really looking, so the posturing isn't there. If you love it, then you really have to love it, Yeah. You can't just fake it here. Yeah. Which I think that's maybe something, that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, that's well said. And I think, you kind of touched on what I was going to ask you next, about that passion and ambition. And as I mentioned earlier, you tour, you play around town consistently, you're working on lots of projects with different collaborators. And you've been at this a long time, and I'd argue have built a successful career in music without, record industry support or hit singles with millions of plays on Spotify, whatever. And this, I should mention, is not rare in other cities, but you don't see folks here in Jacksonville as often committing to that kind of artist life like you have. And I wanted to ask you about that and how and when maybe you decided that, hey, I'm going to do music and that's what I'm going to do.
Cool. How and when, I feel like, when I was it's all I ever wanted to do. I mean, the long answer is like, when I was sleeping in school, in high school, and the guy from college came and wake me up like, hey, what college do you want to go to? The senior year or something. I was like, I'm not going to go to college, man. I'm going to be in a band. That was it, And my folks were just like, finish high school and then we don't care what you do, but whatever you do, you got to like work at it. And so that was it, I started there, and then over time, got married, had kids. Now I have kids. But at the time I had a kid, and like I was trying to, work in a band and like make it that way. And, time crept in and like tried to like have a stable life. And then I was working at Starbucks, somehow ended up there.
Yeah.
And it all came to a head in kind of like a dramatic kind of breakdown where I realized like I am like 35 years old and I'm not doing the one thing that I set out to do. Like all I want to do is get in a car and drive around and play songs.
Yeah.
And with a lot of support from my wife and family and stuff, they were like, yeah, all right, cool, we'll figure it out. And then, my wife kind of said, like, you just have to make this amount of money. And once that was there, you'll find it,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I have to make, $1,000 a month. All right. And I just started trying to find gigs or trying to find stuff or trying to find work.
Yeah.
Gig work, either bartending or playing the shows, but nothing like too committed to where I couldn't just focus on playing music. And then kind of just been building from there over the past 5 years. This almost seems like the second wind of a career, because it's like started at maybe 15 or something, and then like hit an apex, and then kind of, disintegrated, or not disintegrated, but like kind of went down. Mm-hmm. And now this is like, all right, well,
yeah,
it seems like ascending again, and I'm finding ways to build up and climb, and yeah.
You're happy with the decision?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't think there's any other way,
Yeah.
I think for whatever reason, that's the only thing, if you have some purpose and you can do it, you should.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky, and I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to do it, like I have the support and things like that. I think that's the thing, like if you have the capability to do it and you're not doing it, then
yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like I kept telling myself that, like, why are you wasting all your time doing this thing? Mm-hmm. Like, you could do this.
Yeah.
What's scaring you? What's keeping you from doing it?
Yeah, well, we're thankful that you are doing it, and we're looking forward to more new music soon, hopefully, and that's what I wanted to ask you about. I know you can't really sit still. Are you working on anything, and what direction is that project taking at this point? Full band? Is it solo? Is it, acoustic? Are you doing a funk album? What are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing a whole gangster rap album. Just going hard, dude. I'm taking it in a different direction. No, the record's finished, man. I went up to Athens, like, on the record Bones, I worked with this producer, David Barbie, who I've known kind of since my old band, Julius Airwave, went up there back in 2003 or something.
Wow,
when he first kind of opened his studio. And, like, I've kind of been touching, base with him over the past 20 years, and, like, we've recently started working together. He recorded and produced Bones, for the most part. But I had built up a band and stuff like that. And I wrote this whole other
record kind of during the pandemic, like while everything was, where you couldn't do anything else but write stuff and live stream. And I sent him some demos, and I was like, hey man, would you want to like, help produce this one? And he, said he wanted to have a little bit more hands-on approach. And I was like, oh, yes. I think I've always, I did a lot of home recording, but I did it out of necessity because I had such bad experiences in studios.
Yeah.
But he was the one that I kind of trusted. It's like you got to find somebody you trust and that can work with you and understands where you're trying to go. And I think but I've always just wanted to come in and write songs and sing. Like, I just want to play guitar and sing, man. I don't want to play every instrument. I don't want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to come up with, I want to work with people,
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's fun to see what happens when, you mix it up. So anyway, he said, yeah. And he's like, oh, and I got some guys that would be great on it. So he picked out the drummer and the bass player. And then we had a few other people add some things to the record. And it's really the most, not time, but like I feel like some of the most energy I've spent on a record in a long time.
Yeah. This is Bones or
this is the new one that's coming out. Bones was, that was a one step. It was like, all right, this is a lot of energy that I've spent on this record. I got a band together. And the next one, I don't really have a title for it yet, but it's 10 songs are finished, they're mixed. And next year we'll be playing it out. I'm going to play it out with a band, kind of put together a World Series, band that I want to play with, like folks that I've played with over the years. And I'm like, I feel like this would be a good, let's see what happens when this group gets together.
An all-star team.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I've just been lucky to play with tons of great people.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to try something different and bring out these guys and see if we could, give the record some legs.
Yeah. Do you want to play something new for us?
Sure. Yeah. Let me have some of this tea.
This is rickoLus.
I don't know what time this airs, but everybody knows this is like 10 in the morning. My voice is like...
He's going to play something new for us. What's this song called?
It's called Exile. It's the last track on the record.
Cool.
something that I'm not. You treat me like I'm one of your own. So how come I feel so alone? I want a place to call home, to call home, where I'm not afraid of anything, anything, anything. Look at myself.